What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Commander Deck Tech. I feel like this is all we do anymore is Commander Deck Techs because I have so many Commander decks. It only makes sense to do Commander Deck Techs. Um, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in one of the other deck techs. I have 24 to 26 Commander decks at any given time, and they rotate, they increase and go up and down in power level depending. But today we are doing ATLA PALANI Nest Tender. If you guys don't know what she does, you pay 2, tap her, create a 0/1 green egg creature token with Defender, and Defender means they can't attack. When the egg you control dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that creature on the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library. So this deck is all about getting eggs out and cheating stuff into play. Sacking your tokens, sacking your creatures, whatever you got to do to get them out. But let's jump into this deck tech. Burnished Heart, Beanstalk Giant, Mana Dork, Elvish Rejuvenator to get some more lands because you want to get to your colors. Spring Bloom Druid enters the battlefield. You can sack a land and search for 2 basics. Court Cartographer to find some planes. And everyone's favorite elf. Maybe not. Maybe it's the Mystic. Land of War Elves and the Caryatid. So those are like your land search and mana dorks of the deck. Then we have a Purpose because giving your creatures haste is awesome. Hero's Bane. It enters with 4+1/+1 counters. You could pay 4 and put more +1/+1 counters on it. It gets big quick. Ruthless Stalker. When a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, so it makes your creatures bigger. Jared Conclave Exile. When it enters battlefield, create a 4/4 Rhino creature token with trample. When it attacks, populate the token enters battlefield tapped and attacking. Now, funny thing with this is with him, if you target the egg made by ATLA, they have Defender. So I don't know how that works with populating those egg tokens, but as far as I know, Defender, they can't attack. Marisi, Breaker of the Coil. Your opponents cannot cast spells during combat. When a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, go to each creature that player controls. So they have to attack and they can't attack you. So this kind of gives you a turn or two to build up some eggs so you have more blockers. Oblivion Sour, Terastodon. Hitting Terastodon off an egg trigger, really, really great. You never know what's coming though, unless you set up the top of your deck. Tristani, Silesian's Voice. A Domination Angel. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may exile target non-land permanent other than a Domination Angel. And when a Domination Angel leaves, return all exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So it's a form of removal. Helikite. Flash. When enters battlefield, it deals 5 damage divided among any number of targets or creatures or players as you see fit. Mammoth. When the land enters battlefield, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and there's also a land on the backside. Silverblade Paladin. As long as it's paired with another creature, both creatures have double strike. Never a bad thing. Keswick Ranger. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 2. When you do have that creature, deal damage equal to its power to target creature. So with the bigger creatures, this is good. The eggs, it's not going to do anything. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest toughness or is tied for greatest toughness. We have a lot of big things that come out. So, lots of things that can hit. Rampaging Balos, whenever a land enters the battlefield you control, under your control, you may create a 4/4 green beast token. What's better than more tokens? Giving them all trample. Avacyn, Keeper of Fables, because we are playing a lot of non-humans, so drawing a card is not a bad idea. Giving our stuff hexproof. Creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and cannot have hexproof. So it gives our creatures hexproof and takes away everyone else's hexproof. The Destiny Spinner. Creatures and enchantments spells you control cannot be countered. This is definitely helpful, so they don't counter your commander, because we really need our commander to do its thing. Meteor Golem, under end of the battlefield effect, destroy target non-land permanent. It's great off of the egg trigger. Multani, it's gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land in your graveyard. Pay 2, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand, and return Multani from your graveyard to your hand. So it has recurrence. It also has trample. The Stomper, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. Gaia's Revenge, haste. Can't be the target of non-green spells and abilities from non-green sources. And it's an 8/5, so it's big and it can swing. Omnath, because why not? Lands make more tokens. And when Omnath or another elemental you control dies, it deals 3 damage to any target. Bane of the Balagid. When it attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents he or she controls. Another great card to hit off of the egg triggers. Garrick's Pack Leader. Another creature with 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control. You may draw a card. Asaya Soul of the Wild makes all of your creatures, your non-token creatures, are forest lands in addition to their other types, which makes a lot of the landfall stuff work pretty well. This is here. He is Johan. Okay, as long as he's a tap attack, as long as he does not attack and is untapped, attacking does not cause creatures you control to tap. So pretty much just gives all your creatures vigilance if you don't attack with them. Selvala Ice Shaper, you pay 3, you can make a colorless Icy Manalith token, tap for any one color. You can pay 8. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast spells from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom. So another way to cast those big spells in case you can't get your eggs going. Endbringer. And that's the last creature in the deck. So let's shimmy those over to here. Next we have the enchantments in the deck. PALANI Heart Expedition. Abundance. Abundance is great here, okay? If you would draw a card, instead you choose land or non-land, or reveal cards at the top of your library until you reveal that kind of card. Put all cards revealed that way on the bottom of your library in any order. So if you need a specific something, it's one way to get it. It's not great in every situation, but it is good in some as well. Garrick's Uprising. When a creature enters battlefield, when Garrick's Uprising enters the battlefield, control a creature with 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. And when a creature with 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So more draw power to you. And then our Flowstone Surge gives all our creatures +1/-1. This is great with the eggs, because then the eggs will enter the battlefield and automatically die and start triggering your stuff. So that is the enchantments. For artifacts, we are running our artillery spear. Yeah, spear. Lightning Greaves, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Ashnod's Altar to sack your eggs to, because you need to get rid of those eggs. Mind Stone, Skull Clamp, again, get rid of the eggs. Seer's Lantern, and probably the best artifact in the deck, Mask with Nexus. Creatures you control are every creature type. This is the same true for creature spells you control and cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. So this literally turns all your stuff into eggs. So then when any of your creatures die, you can trigger your commander's ability if she's on the board. Okay? Which is great. And you can pay 3, tap it, and make more creatures. Which you can then sack or jump block or kill or whatever to get more egg triggers. Instance. Settle the Wreckage. This one is technically instant in a sorcery. Leave and chance. And then we have Roiling Regrowth. Thwart the enemy. Ram through because we're playing some big stuff. Okay. Harrow, the best land search out there. But that is it for instance. Sorceries, we are playing the Undo Inversion, destroy all non-land permanents. If you have a Saya on the board, all your stuff will be lands, so this will just destroy everything else. Triumph of the Hordes, because if we're going to win, why not do it with Infect? Far Wanderings, search for some lands. Cultivate, same thing, find some lands. This is Renewal, find some lands. We got Circuitous Route here for some more finding lands. And then we have Song Mad Treachery, gain control of target creature until the end of the turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn. And then we have 2 wonderful board wipes. One of those being Hour of Revelation. This costs 3 less to cast. There are 10 or more non-land permanents. And Planar Outburst. Destroy all non-land creatures. Now, the non-land part of these is important because, like I said, if you get a Saya on the board, then your stuff is not creatures. And then there'll be lands. So then these will hit everyone else's stuff. Not just, like, it'll just bypass your lands and creatures. So, that is this deck tech for you guys. Like always, leave a comment down below. Let me know any suggestions you might have for the deck. I know there's probably some cards to make it more efficient, but this is the way I play it, and this is the way I've been playing it, and I fairly enjoy it so far. So, if there's anything you might run, or maybe you run this deck and you run it with Eldrazi instead of all the other creatures, let me know down below. I'm always down to learn new things about certain commanders and certain decks, and it's interesting. Also, leave a comment what commanders you might want to see. I do have quite a few commanders I got to do yet, but there, if there's anything that catches my eye that you guys suggest, maybe I'll go and build those. You never know. So, I will see you guys in the next video later this week with another deck tech, probably.